what's the title of your research?
So I have a tentative title at the moment, but it's really exploring the lived experiences of neurodivergent entrepreneurs. So, what is it like to be a neurodivergent entrepreneur? And my hope is that by hearing those stories and understanding all of the differences in those experiences, but also some of the commonalities and shared experiences, um, I can um, create something that will have influence on those who are creating policy, who are developing support networks, who are developing, approaches to funding, those who are providing resource, those who are educating in this space. Unless we have those stories in a rigorous, credible environment that people go to seek this data, then I think there's something really missing in the research, and if those organisations, those bodies cannot access that data and access it as a reliable, rigorous piece of research, it's unlikely that they will include that in their decision making.
Which is huge.
Mm.
Absolutely huge, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So when we think about our daily lived life, are you focusing on, that's the other thing I wanted to ask, is are you focusing on UK entrepreneurial lived experience, or are you doing other countries? Are there any participants in other countries?
There are participants outside the UK. So I've had participants come forward from several other countries, and the research is open to anyone who is neurodivergent, who has been an entrepreneur within the last 5 years, or is currently an entrepreneur. So those are my criteria.
And then, so we were talking about why research is so important, because it influences
Mm.
public policy, and that public policy ultimately influences government decisions,
Mm-hmm.
which then influences our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm just, like when I think, and you've probably observed this as well, I'm guessing that when we all went into lockdown 6 years ago now, and people were made extremely aware of themselves, because
Mm.
where else could we go? It felt like there was this huge, we were all online,
Yeah.
and that's where we went. And then the online conversations across social networks sort of exploded around neurodivergence, and yet it is still massively underdiagnosed. And I'm thinking also, particularly in women, I was at an International Women's Day, and I was doing I was a speaker on a panel, and that was a room full of women entrepreneurs. And something that I have observed is that, and through the work that I do, that women, I mean, there's a wonderful line: women hold up half the sky. That was a Mao Zedong original. And then there was a book published, I think 2010, about um, the economic importance of educating and empowering and equipping women.
Mm-hmm.
Made that phrase quite a global, it permeated global thought now. I think it's, hopefully it's a phrase you might have heard of.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I kind of feel that when you are competent and capable and coping externally, that it can be really hard as a woman in terms of self care and taking care of yourself to even begin to think about exploring the possibility of being a neurodivergent woman.
Mm-hmm.
And that can feel quite scary And I have met many, many entrepreneurs that can relate to the neurodivergent traits that they witness perhaps in their own children,
Yeah.
perhaps their partner,
Yeah.
but because their life is working for them, it's almost they don't want a diagnosis, in a nutshell.
Mm. Mm.
And but they will identify with neurodivergent traits, usually the
Yeah.
strengths, but also sort of there are echoes that I've witnessed within the entrepreneurial community of a bazillion and one thoughts, that not necessarily having the structure to hold all of those ideas to make it all happen.
Hmm.
And then we're sort of tipping into the strains